And we're live. Maybe we can just take another minute to allow people to come in. But welcome everyone. My name is Filena. I'm the head of partnerships at NitroPack, and we're really happy to have you join us today. I have another two favorite brands and people from WordPress, Aurelio and Vito. Do you guys want to quickly tell us what you do and where you work and why you're here?
I see that Vito is still mute, so I will start. So I'm Aurelio. I'm the co-founder of WP Umbrella, which is a French company, and our job is to provide agencies with a tool so they can manage all their WordPress websites from one single place, updates, backup, and everything. And that's it. I'm super excited to be here to discuss this topic with you today. And I guess, Vito, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'm Vito. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Atarim. What we do is we help design teams, whether they're in agencies or internal teams, to collaborate efficiently on their design, essentially reducing delivery time by more than half. I'm excited to showcase how that happens and discuss some of the challenges that agencies face on day to day. With a kind of, in a sentence, I started building websites back in the day, back on GeoCities, if anyone remembers that, when I was 14. Got into WordPress about 12 years ago, and I used to run an agency in London, in the UK. We built a solution to help us deliver websites or deliver website building services to our clients a lot faster. It was called WP Feedback at the time, later rebranded to Atarim, and expanded over the past few years. Yeah, I'm excited, and I want to thank everyone that is joining, and both Aurelio and Svilena that have set this up with the teams. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing, thank you. So I think people might be wondering what brought the three of us together in this room, even though it's virtual. And I think it's pretty simple. We've been running into each other at WordPress events for the past couple years, and it didn't take us long before we realized that we're actually passionate about the same thing. We're passionate about helping agencies optimize and streamline their work, and we just do that in three different ways. So today we're actually going to tell people all about these different ways and how they can use them to turn their WordPress agency into a client magnet. So like Aurelio already mentioned, he's going to talk all about how people can do seamless site updates. Vito is going to tell you guys how you can master automated design collaboration, and I'm going to touch on the site speed optimization angle, because at NitroPack we're all about site speed and performance and improving user experiences and delivering faster load times. And before we dive in, please don't forget that we'll wrap up today's session with a Q&A. So please leave us any questions that you have in the comment section, and we'll get to those at the end of today's session. So as agencies, you're all focused on delivering the best results for your clients, whether that's through web development, SEO, or overall strategy. But I think there's one common challenge that all your clients face, even though they might not be aware of it, and that's site performance. It's notoriously difficult to optimize. It requires much manual work and resources to get right across hundreds of sites. At least that's what people say before they discover automated site speed optimization. And today I want to help you see the business value in great site performance and ultimately boost all your other service offerings and the results you drive for your WordPress clients. So earlier this year, we analyzed over 200,000 pages and discovered that the user's patience caps out at the 2.75 second mark. The good news is that a joint study by Google and Deloitte also revealed that you don't have to shave off entire seconds of your site load times to see results. In fact, even a 1 millisecond improvement in site speed was enough to boost metrics across the entire buyer journey. And here we're talking about seeing improvements like an 8.6% more page views viewed in a session, a 5.2% improvement in customer engagement, an 8.4% more conversions, and average order value increase of 9.2%. And the truth is that site speed hasn't been just about having a fast homepage for about 4 years now. Your client websites need to impress not only Google, but also users. So if you manage to win over the latter, Google rewards your efforts even more. The reason this dependency is crucial is because Google understands that fast websites create better page experiences. This in turn impacts how Google will rate your client's landing pages, how much higher it will position relevant content in the search results, and ultimately, how much traffic will land on your client's websites. Moreover, once you win the click-through, a secure, fast, and responsive website will boost engagement and conversions. So as it turns out, site speed is not simply an abstract concept, but a strategy that helps you move users through the buyer journey more efficiently. And Neil Patel's SEO agency leveraged that for over 200 WordPress websites with NitroPack, and we couldn't be happier with the results across the board. This is a real-life example how speed improvements translate to client satisfaction. So they're tangible and very much achievable at scale. Now let's dive into the WordPress aspect of speed optimization. WordPress clients in particular stand to win a lot from automated site speed optimization. And you might be wondering why that is. Well, that's because WordPress websites struggle with speed, heavy image usage, especially in WooCommerce, and bloated setups. They show the lowest Core Web Vitals pass rates, often underuse optimized image formats like WebP, and typically load 20 to 30 plugins per site. This creates a huge need for better speed and performance optimization. And that's where NitroPack comes in. With our optimization power, the manual work is taken out of the equation. What we decided to build on very early on was excellent user experiences, both inside the web app and as an end result for all NitroPack users. So agency clients like yourself need an even more sophisticated setup, and that's why we constantly perfect the 4 pillars for agency efficiency with NitroPack. And those are Core Web Vitals optimization, client management, client onboarding, and troubleshooting. So on WordPress, NitroPack offers the most complete optimization stack for excellent Core Web Vitals. This includes smart caching systems, enterprise-level CDN, code optimization, image and video compression, font optimization, and even WooCommerce-specific tools like Cart Cache. And as an agency, you can either choose from predefined optimization modes or go in for more customized settings depending on your client needs. All features work via toggle buttons to simplify site optimization. And for 51% of our user base, passing Core Web Vitals is as easy as simply activating NitroPack. And here I want to touch on another case study by an agency called Bionic WP. And as the name suggests, they're an agency on WordPress, and they achieved significant Core Web Vitals pass rate improvements across over 2,000 client websites with NitroPack. And this is the kind of impact you can bring to your clients without needing to dive deep into technical details. So with manual optimization out of the way comes the bigger and bulkier question. How do you optimize at scale? One of the standout features for agencies is NitroPack's client management tools. You choose between team and client management for granular control over account setup, resources, team roles, and more. This helps make cross-team and in-house collaboration much smoother and more efficient, which is also a topic that Vito will tell you a little more about later today. So what you can do with this feature is share accounts with different team members for easier website management. You can send invitations and assign different roles based on the permissions you want to grant, or you can opt in for our latest clients feature and gain access to your clients' accounts by simply providing their email addresses. Now, we got some great feedback right after the launch from a client at Neil Patel Digital who said, and I quote, "This is phenomenal. This will make it so much easier for our clients to give us access as developers," end quote. And we strongly believe that role-specific features really do make a difference when it comes to working with multiple stakeholders. NitroPack also offers different levels of management ownership depending on how your agency operates. You may prefer hands-on control through our standard agency plans, or you handle everything from client account creation to overall management, or to share account access with your clients via an agency account. We provide the flexibility you need. And to make things even smoother, all agency partners receive an agency handbook that helps onboard new clients efficiently. It's an exhaustive resource for all our optimizations, management features, account details, and level 1 troubleshooting. Of course, our 24/7 technical engineers are one live chat away from resolving any issue you might encounter. And while we're on the topic, problem solving and performance optimization is essential. You can use our email notifications for team members about billing, resource usage, and website status changes to keep the team informed and ready to act. And you can see a demo of this on the next slide. So with this feature, you can ensure that all members are up to date with critical information, leading to quicker decision-making and problem resolution. And because we know that having something on the side is the only way to give yourself room to grow, agencies can leverage NitroPack's revenue share program. It's available to all agencies with our client feature enabled. It's really a way for you to earn a share of the revenue for every client subscription you manage and boost your bottom line while delivering top-tier performance solutions. So if you're ready to see how NitroPack can help you optimize client sites at scale, reach out to us. All you have to do is fill out our agency form, and we can talk about how we can run test setups, and you can see the results for yourself. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Aurelio.
Thank you, Svilena. I'm always shocked to see like what we can do with technology nowadays, where you can just like speed up all your websites in just one click, and you don't need like any technical knowledge. That's crazy. I mean, I know that Vito was there,
Yeah.
and it was so hard to optimize performance like 10 years ago, and it was like, so it's, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe you can actually give us a testimonial for our homepage, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, and for the record, we are fully compatible with NitroPacks. Because when you manage multiple WordPress websites, clearing the cache after, for instance, a plugin update, I mean, it doesn't take much time if you do it on one website, But if you have to do it on 200 websites, it's a whole other story. And because of this compatibility, you can do that automatically after plugin updates. Anyway, sorry, tiny out of topic from me. I'm going to talk about the WordPress maintenance part, because when it comes to running an agency, you have two options. Option one, you build a website. You find a client, you build the website, then that's it. And so you have to find another client, build another website, and it's an endless process. What you can do, on the other hand, is to build the websites and start securing some recurring revenue with what we call care plan, maintenance plan, this kind of stuff, where every month you start selling, you sell a recurring activity to your clients, plugin updates, backup, hosting management, performance optimization, and so on. And that's what I'm going to talk about in my presentation, because this is the reason why we created WP Umbrella back in July 2021. It was at the beginning a side project. We wanted, WordPress devs. We develop our own things, so we could do update, we could do uptime monitoring, monitor everything. That was funny. And one thing leading to another, we got some traction. And in January 2022, we quitted everything with my co-founders to go full-time on WP Umbrella. And fast forward today, our tool is installed on a bit more than 30,000 websites, and we are helping a bit more than 2,500 agencies. It's really a tool for agencies that help them to manage multiple WordPress sites from a single place. And we are not a hosting company, because it's a topic that often comes. We come at the top of the hostings. And the beauty of having like a WordPress management tool is that you can gather all your websites, regardless of the hosting provider, in just one place. Okay. And we did that because the best way to boost your productivity with WordPress is either to do things in bulk or to do things automatically. And with WP Umbrella, and regardless of WP Umbrella, there are a few things that you need to do if you want to scale your agency. Because I think we all start WordPress in the same kind of way. Like, we are good with IT. We did 1 or 2 websites, then we started to do website for friends. One thing leading to another, we hire a friend, and next year you are an agency with 10 people. You know, that's how it happens, and you are not really equipped with the process or the tool. And so what you need, first thing first, if you want to boost your productivity with WordPress maintenance, is a tool where you can centralize everything, have an overview of all what's going on your websites. And for instance, at WP Umbrella, sometimes clients in France, they invite us in their agency, and we can see that they have on the TV, you know, the dashboard, and they looked at it, and they know when a website is done, they know when they have updates, when they know when they have a security flow and stuff, security vulnerability, and stuff. So it's super important to have like a central view from where you can manage everything, which leads me to the bulk management thing. WordPress updates, it takes times, and just like cache clearing, updating 10 plugins on one website, it's okay. Updated hundreds of plugins on hundreds of websites, it's like a full-time job for one person, like 1 week a month. And with WordPress management tool, you can like bulk select everything, push one button, and trigger all your updates on all your websites in just one click. Of course, you shouldn't do that. You should read plugin changelog, and we will see just afterward what are the good processes when it comes to update. But you need a bulk management tool to do that. This is probably going to be the action that will have the most impact on your agency workflow if you don't have one. And with the new tool, like WP Umbrella, sorry, I feel I'm doing a lot of self-promotion, but you can do like automatic cache clearing, you can do automatic bulk upgrade for database if you are using Elementor or WooCommerce, you know. All those things are included and designed to save your time. Another thing that you must automate is your backups. And when it comes to backups, you need to have at least 2 sources of backup. The backup of your hosting provider, which is always the best backup, and then a third-party backup, which is not stored on the same server than your hosting provider. And of course, once again, with WP Umbrella, you can do like all your backup, automate everything. We store your backup on our own server. They are encrypted for 50 days. And so you always have a B plan and a safety net if something goes wrong. Last but least, you can also automate your client reporting. And this is going to be a very good transition for Vito later on. Your clients, they don't know much about WordPress maintenance. They don't know much about how to create a website. And you need to have regular communication touch point with them so they know what you are doing and why is it important. And with WordPress management tool, you can automate this communication with clients. For instance, at WP Umbrella, we track all what you are doing on your WordPress website, like plugin updates, scheduled backups, the performance, the uptime rate, etc., etc., etc. And we put everything into a nice PDF report that we send automatically to your client with your own sending domain. And so every month, your client get like a quick overview of all what has been going on its websites, and it gives him an opportunity to raise questions. And in my opinion, if you don't have like these processes in place for centralization, bulk management, backup, and reporting, you are losing a lot of time, and you should like implement them. I've already spoken way too much. I will try to be very efficient when it comes to plugin updates because I wanted to do like a tiny like zoom in, because when it comes to WordPress maintenance, it's always the most time consuming part. Because when you update a plugin, you can get a downtime, you can get a white screen of death, you can have like your design that breaks and so many problems. which is often what people are complaining about when it comes to WordPress. And on the other hand, if you don't update your plugins, you get vulnerabilities, you get hacked, your website becomes slow, your ranking drop, and you lose access to new cool features. So you must, I mean, it might feel risky for you, but you must keep your website updated as much as you can. And I wanted to share with you, like, because we are updating, like, I don't know, like hundreds of thousands of plugins every month. And I wanted to share with you like some best practices when it comes to updating plugins safely. The first rule actually is to only install essential plugins that are regularly, sorry, it's impossible for me to say this word in French, maintain, which means that make sure that the plugin editor are reliable and don't install too much plugin, because the more plugin you connect, the more likely you are to get like a PHP error when you update it. Always read changelog. Plugin changelog are full of information, and you must read them before you update everything. Also, please check for compatibility with PHP and compatibility with WordPress, because those are the two things that are the most likely to break your website. If the plugin update is not about fixing a security issue, I would strongly recommend you to wait like 48 hours before updating the plugin. Vito is also doing a plugin, and sometimes you push an update into production and you have a very tiny edge case and one website goes down, and most of the issue about plugin updates are being fixed within like 2 or 3 hours. Giving it today and you should be like just fine. Almost last but least, make sure you have a fresh backup. You don't need to take a backup just before an update, but just make sure you have something, a recent restoration point and a safety net. And I know that many of you doesn't have a staging, but if you have like a pre-production site or a staging, it's always best to try the update on this kind of environment. And last but least, don't skip like updating many versions, and when go from one major to another major without considering minor updates, because this is also likely to break your websites. So yeah, plugin updates in WordPress are kind of a nightmare, if I can say, which is why, and then I swear I'm done talking, we have developed, and it's in production, a safe update feature in WP Umbrella, and this is the process that we follow so agencies don't break the website of their client when they update it. When you trigger an update from WP Umbrella, we automatically run a plugin compatibility check. So we check for you if your PHP version and your WordPress version allows you to do the update. We create a restoration point for the plugin folder. So if there is a downtime, we can instantly restore it. When the restoration point is created, we take a screenshot of your website, we update the plugin, we clear the cache, if you are using, for instance, NitroPack, and we clear the cache because we are going to take another screenshot and we are going to compare them. And if the screenshots are similar, then the update is being processed, you're good to go. If there is visual changes from one screenshot to another, we will give you the opportunity, automatically or not, to roll back the update. And with this tiny process with screenshots, screenshot comparison, backups, and some PHP monitoring and uptime monitoring, we allow our user to update WordPress plugin confidently. And so you don't have to waste like 2 hours to troubleshoot something, basically. Do I have the time to speak about the best practices for web agencies? Okay. So just to wrap up, because my point with this presentation is like I need to help them to save their time. So I wanted to speak about what we can do at WP Umbrella, but also to help you to put in place some processes. So you would do just that. You need to have like an updating process in place. How are you updating plugin? Are you updating your plugin every Monday? What's your tech stack? What is your hosting stacks? The more hosting providers you get, the more edge cases you are going to get, and really try to have like a professional way of updating your plugin. Put a process so when it comes to troubleshoot the issue, it's easier. You need to have like a security monitoring system in place for downtime, for vulnerability, so you don't have to wait for your clients to bring you the issue. You need to be proactive. And the best way to do that is to be alerted when something happens before your client even discover it. Which leads me to the two most important points, in my opinion, when it comes to agency, which is communication and collaboration. You need to communicate on a weekly, monthly basis with your clients if you are selling them care plan. They need to know what's going on. And you need to understand that your clients, they don't understand what you are doing because they have a real job, which is probably running an e-commerce website, or maybe they are hairdresser, I don't know, whatever. And so you need to be proactive and you need to communicate with them a lot. And this starts with client onboarding and collaboration on the wireframe, which is my smooth transition to Vito.
All right. Thank you very much, Aurelio. This was very interesting to hear both from you, Svilena, and from you, Aurelio. I already know the products. I already played with them previously, so I know that these are solid pieces of tech. And it's really cool to see both of you coming into the space over the past few years and making a massive impact. We just before this session started, we were talking about the impact at WordCamp US and how when you first start going to these events, you just try and get everyone, check out what I've built. And after a while, you start coming back and you start meeting the users and start seeing the impact that you're making on people's lives, on people's businesses. And it's very rewarding. With that, I would love to kind of jump into the third and last section of this presentation before we're going to move on to the QA. And I already saw some awesome questions on the chat here. I'm going to bring them all in. So Svilena and Aurelio, please don't leave yet. We're going to come back, and anyone that is on the chat, please don't leave yet. We're going to come back and answer all of these questions one by one. And what I would like to focus on is why do client projects lag? And I'm sure that if you built more than 3 websites in your life with clients, you must know what I'm talking about. And with this, I'll actually want to start with a question. And let me just go down to this one. So I get my screen in order. Yeah, perfect. So I want to pose a question to the chat, to everyone that has joined us on this webinar. How long does it take all of you to build a small business website? And when I say that, I mean on your own, just you and the browser. You have everything that you need. And we're talking about a 5-pager small business website. Well, you gave the reference of a hairdresser's website. I think that's a good kind of example. And I'm just giving that as an example to frame this. Please put that in the chat. How long would that take you to build this 5-pager website on your own? You have everything that you need, just you and the browser. So I see some answers on there. We're getting some questions on this. Okay, we got the WP Umbrella saying 1 day. That's great. And we got 5 days to build a basic website from Jan. We got Chad from 4 to 7 days. And we have a 20 days to a month to build biz side professional with back forth with clients. Yes, I'm talking for Zalco. Just you and the browser, no client, just you building it on your own. We have George giving us 4 days. We have 5 to 7 days. Okay, that's perfect. Now, Zalco, you already gave us the next question here, which is how long would that take you to build that exact same website, but with a client? Let's see on there. So Zalco gave us a 20 days to a month to build a biz site professionally. We have 1 minute with Zip WP, but fine-tuned for 15 days. That's from Michael. We have Yassien, 1 day, all code is provided. That's with the client. Chad, with the client, is going to take 2 to 3 months. From Beth, we have for project management for profit. We have way longer, 4x the time from Stuart, right? And this is really the challenge that I would like us to tackle here today together. How come that this is kind of the average that I'm seeing from our space? How come that a 3 to 5 day build would usually take between 4 to 6 weeks to build that exact same website? Isn't that crazy that we moved from 5 days to 31 days just because we added one more collaborator to join us? What's going on here? How is that possible? How is that logical? And how do we all accept this as something that is the norm? Because as you can see here on the chat, it really is. And I didn't change the numbers just as the answers came in. Usually this is the same thing. We actually did a survey to check this out and to kind of figure out what's going on there. And what we found is that, I'm sure that you would agree, that extension of 520% increase in time on this one example, on the 3 to 5 days to 4 to 6 weeks. That's coming from client delays, back and forth, procrastination. One side doesn't know what the other side is talking about, scope creep throughout the entire project. Things are being added on and on. We have Jan giving us misunderstandings and myth that the clients had. I love that. The client is busy. Jim is telling us that's exactly one of these challenges, because we can't read the client's mind. Yes, I love that. So the one thing that is the common denominator to all of these items, to client delays, back and forth, procrastination, and as Aurelio put this pretty plainly and precisely, it's all about communication and collaboration. I think that one of the things and one of the realizations that I had running the agency at the time is that I came into this game because I was a creative fella. I just wanted to build beautiful interfaces and nice, solid websites. But that's not what I was. I was a service provider, and that service aspect is way beyond the art, way beyond the creativity of it. That's actually all about communication and collaboration. And even more interesting than that is that this ratio holds at every different level of scale. So I'm sure that if that you'd all agree, if we need to build or create some sort of small design task, let's say design this slide that I'm presenting here on the screen, on my own, that would take me at most 5 minutes just to put in the text, put in these little stars here on the side. But if I need to get that approved by someone else, whether they're internally within the team or externally with clients, that exact 5-minute task is going to take me, if everyone is on it, it's going to take between 30 to 45 minutes. But that could also be days of waiting for someone to actually review that and look at it. And on the same ratio holds on the larger scale. If I have a 4 weeks design project, a website build to create, that's usually going to take between 3 to 4 months. And that sticks as well the same at different levels of ratio as well. If we have a 6 months project, that'll probably take about a year and a half to do that with a team, with clients. The point is, we ran a survey with 587 website professionals, and what we found is that there is an inherent increase of between 400 to 500% on every deliverable that we all create. That obviously affects all kinds of different elements that we're going to see through the next couple of slides. So if I'm going back to this example here, we have the initial build time, which is just that. And then we have this collaboration time that happens without Atarim, all of these delays, this back and forth, all of this kind of nonsense that happens with clients. When it comes to using Atarim, we managed to cut the delivery time by more than half, users report between 50 to 70% reduction in project delivery by implementing our solution for every single project. That means fewer and faster feedback cycles, less admin work for you and for your team, a lot more creative work rather than chasing clients, and a lot more focus on the work itself. And as you can see, that kind of is the ratio that holds here. Now, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning, I aged myself by talking about GeoCities. I don't know if there's any other folks here on the chat that know what I'm talking about. I saw Aurelio was smiling. I think you experienced that platform back in the day. But the thing is that back then, it took about 10 hours to create a basic homepage that now with modern tools, drag and drop, would take me about 30 minutes to create. And that transformation of visual creation has dramatically decreased the time that it takes to create that initial design. Actually, it reduced more than 90% of our build time just by implementing these modern tools that we all have within our stack every single day now. More than that, and I saw someone here, I think it was Michael mentioned on the chat here about Zip WP and some AI-related tools that are coming into the space recently. I believe that's going to bring in another 90% squash to the creation time, to the build time. Like Michael mentioned, it takes 5 minutes with those tools to get something going. Probably maybe not the final result, but something pretty solid that used to take 10 hours. Now we're down to 5 minutes. So the level of transformation happens all around. But the thing is that the collaboration is still done in the same manual and old ways that we've been using for literally decades. In fact, 80% of agencies use email as the main form of communication when it comes to gathering feedback and communicating with clients. And email is a 40-year-old tool that was never designed for any of this type of purpose. Fax is actually much better than that, because it has the visual aspect of it. And if anyone did graphic design back in the day, you would fax the design, mark it up with your pen, put it back to the print shop, and they would print it back out, right? So even that is better, but even this sounds super old. But these are the tools that we use every single day. So I know that sometimes it seems pretty crazy to that we can squash the delivery time by 50%, but we've all done that with many different elements in our work for everything, actually, except for collaboration. Let's see some of these results. So these are some agencies that have managed to slash their delivery by more than half. We have Tatiana here from Height Digital, one of the more interesting agencies in the US. They went from 4 months average on project delivery down to 4 weeks. We have Gary here that works a lot with Marvel. Basically, every time that they have a brand new film, it needs a website. And Gary helps them build these websites for the superheroes websites. And that delivery used to take about 3 months. Now it takes 1 month using our solution. We have Eben here that does pretty complex projects. He testified to bringing down or to completing more than 300 changes and requests from 20 different stakeholders. Imagine the nightmare if you can think of some of the previous projects that you had, getting 300 line items from 20 different peoples, syncing that all together, making sure that you can actually deliver that. That would have taken, or according to him, would have taken weeks. But here it took less than 3 days to complete all of these requests and get the project done. He couldn't believe it. He literally couldn't believe it. But what I would like to do is actually focus on Thomas here from Designbox. They build membership sites and was managed to cut down delivery by more than 6 months on one of those membership projects. And I'd like to encourage folks to jump into our YouTube channel and watch the case study that we have with Thomas and with some of the other users there. There's currently 51,000 teams that use our solution with 1.4 million of their clients and team members. And Thomas is one of them, doing an awesome job here with his 10 plus team in the UK, building marketing websites, membership sites, and things like that. So from that recording that is available on YouTube, I kind of put down 3 points that are common challenges that I see within the agency space that I experienced myself for many, many years. One is slim profit margins. In fact, the average profit margin for a website agency is between 7 to 12%. And that's way lower than it should be to create a sustainable business that can hire more team members and expand confidently. Fortunately, with one of the ways to tackle slim profit margins is to create maintenance packages, like with WP Umbrella. To make sure that there is consistency and there is consistency in revenue and maintenance, or in maintenance packages and retainers. One of the other ways is to deliver projects twice as fast. And so what we can see here is Thomas testifying to saving days for some of the basic projects, but even weeks on when it comes to some more complex ones, and even 6 months for one of their larger projects that was there. And this is kind of the first of all to frame that possibility that it is possible to cut that delivery time from 31 days on that initial example that we gave down to much more reasonable, more like 10 days, 12 days on that single example in there. One of the other things that was kind of blew my mind when I first started this product, I kind of set myself a goal to talk to 150, to have calls with 150 agency owners within the first year of us starting this solution back in 2019. And after a couple, I identified that the smaller the agency, the lower people charge. And that's because most people just count that, and they don't consider this when it comes to their initial pricing. And so maybe they would increase 20% because of collaboration. So it would take me 3 days to build it. I'll add 20% of that time and let me charge that to the client. But as we saw, it's not an increase of 20%. It's an increase of between 400 to 500%, 4 to 5x of the initial time that it takes us to create that. If we actually consider that as the time and you reverse engineer it to get to the numbers, you will find that most starting agencies, before they realize this, as they're kind of building up their processes, building up their systems, building up their client base, they actually get paid less than a person that works at McDonald's. And that's a shame, because we are creative people. We're creating value for businesses, and we should be charging according to the value that we're creating. But we don't account for these elements, and that's one of the main problems. So if you're not going to use Atarim, at least bump up your prices at least 2 or 3x, so that it accounts for the 400% increase in time, or complete projects a lot faster in this. So I'm moving to the next one here. So clients don't know what to do. And I want to give a quick example with this. I live in London, so I haven't had a car for about 12 years now since I've moved to that town. You know, if I were to fix a car or went to a garage and the person there would start talking to me about spark plugs and the things that needs there, and you know, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And even when you go to a doctor, they can hear your cough and they know what's up. Or a mechanic can hear the engine and then say, oh, right, the strap here and the thing there. Like, very much like us, if we look at a website, we're like, oh, that's Elemental, even without exploring the code, or that's a Divi website, or that's thing like that. You know, we can see that, we can see the matrix, because this is what we do every single day. We develop this skill. I even like to look at that from a music perspective. Musicians that listen to a song can hear it in layers. They can hear the backing vocals, and they can hear the bass drum, and they can hear the guitar that is on this side and the guitar that is on that side, and all of those different layers. while a person that has no that doesn't listen or play music professionally, they would just hear a song. So that's how clients usually look at a website. They don't see the layers, they don't see the typography and the colors and the spacing and the white space that is around there, and all of those different things that takes us years to master. They don't experience that almost at all. But then what we do is we ask them for feedback on those designs, and they do want to provide that feedback. So what we get is procrastination, because they have no idea how to approach that. A lot of times we'll just throw them into an empty Google Doc and just ask them to kind of focus on that. So the way that we've designed our solution is what we call the grammar test. Everything that is client facing is going through the grammar test, and we basically pose that question: can my grammar do it? And if only then, if it works, only then it will be part of the client experience. And that is designed to make sure that when a client sees that, with all the anxiety of going into building a website, maybe they're doing this for the first time in their lives, maybe they've done this a few times before, it's gonna be 3 times tops for someone that had a long career to go through a website building, unless they are the professional. For a client, probably 3 times in their lifetime, that would be the time that they would experience this, and with 4-year gaps. So we account for that, and we make sure that that there is no a challenge for them to jump in and provide you with the information that we need. But more than that, we actually automate a lot of the work on itself, so that when someone is leaving a request, we collect the screen size, we collect the browser version, we take an automated screenshot that marks the exact location of the request, so that you can train your client with 1 sentence. Please click any part of the website and leave a comment. That's it. Everything else is going to happen on its own. And even if you don't want to say that sentence, we'll say it to them when they come in for the first time. So it really is from a perspective of how can we make it as easy as possible for the end user, for the client, but also augment and provide you all with advanced collaboration and management tools to work with all of those different areas. Third one, fragmented workflows. So the interesting thing is that a normal agency would usually introduce a client to between 5 to 7 different tools on the first 3 weeks of them joining or starting to work together. And I'll try and give an analogy here to something that is kind of foreign to me a little bit, which is, or, you know, kind of out of the creative space. Let's say you start working with a brand new accountant, and within the first 3 weeks, they introduce you to 7 different tools that you need to work with them. For this, you got to use this spreadsheet. And for that, we got to use this method. And for this, there's a dedicated software to do it like that. And so it's all super fragmented. You're probably not going to stick around with that person for a lot longer. You got to get confused. And that's exactly what happens to client. That creates delays, that holds back on the momentum of building the project. With Atarim, we're integrated to all the tools that you're already using, so that you can keep using the tools that you want to use in the background, but let the client use 1 tool. And that is throughout the entire creation process. Every time that they need to touch point with you, Atarim has the right tools to serve them. While in the background, we serve you through internal collaboration and project management tools, but also automations and integrations to any of the main tools that are out there. That includes anything from ClickUp to Basecamp to Trello, Jira, Monday, Teamwork, Zapier, Slack, and all of those, and everything in between. And the fourth and last one is client delays. How does that happen? And so we kind of alluded to that with all of the previous items. And basically, it's because there's no momentum in the project. What happens is that a lot of times we start building and we send the client the first iteration of the design. It's like, what do you think? Or if we're kind, we're going to give them a bit more about this. But the fact of the matter is that they don't have the knowledge or the capacity, or even more than that, it's not in their day-to-day. Building a website is one of the things that they need to do to run their business. Very much like we have a bunch of different items. We are all business owners in this room. We have a bunch of different items that we need to make sure that we're doing on top of our day-to-day work, right? There's a lot of things to juggle in the day-to-day life of a business owner. Building a website is one of them. It's not the only thing. So if you want to steal their time to make sure that the process is efficient, and it needs to be with a way that makes sense to them, that doesn't feel like they need to go through a massive learning curve, that needs to be trained on multiple different tools. Let's book a meeting, but from 2 weeks from now, all of that kills that momentum. And on the back of this, there's even the concept of referrals. And I'm sure that you'd all agree that referrals is the #1 method of acquiring new customers in the agency space. That is the biggest driver of customer. If you do a good job, you're going to get more customers. That's as easy as that. If you know what you're doing, if you build and you serve your clients properly, they're going to come back and they're going to refer other people to you. That's how most agencies grow, if not the vast, vast, vast majority. If you complete the project in half the time, you accelerate what I call the referral flywheel. And that means that instead of acquiring or getting a referral for 1 customer every 2 months, you get referrals for 3.5 customers. If you reverse engineer and do the calculation, you actually get 3.5 customers referred within that same time span. How much is that worth? How much is a brand new customer worth to your agency right now in the next couple of months? How much does 3.5 more than the standard is worth to you? So with this, I would love to invite all of you to go into visit atarim.io/agencies. There's a form there that that you can fill out, and one of our teammates is going to join there. One of our agency experts is going to join on that call and have a conversation with you about your workflow and suggest to you what is right for you. It's not about us. I ran an agency. I'm a creative person first before running this business. I want to make sure that we make a massive impact. And actually, in the previous year, doing the calculation, we have managed to save the agency space 7.6 years in collaboration time just by using our solution. That's what I'm proud of more than anything else. It's the impact that we can bring to everyone's lives. So please come on in, atarim.io/agencies. You can start free also at atarim.io, but I would like to offer that that quick 15-minute, if you want to talk a little bit more, then our team will be happy to, and just dive into those to your workflow and see how we can make an impact for you and for your clients. Thank you very much. So with this, let's jump into the Q&A part of the session. Maybe I took a bit too long. I got excited with all of the familiar faces here on the chat, but I'm going to start with some of the questions I see here. I see that they were start for me, which is awesome. We'll start with Christine. Can you explain how the revenue share program works and how can it benefit agencies? I think that's for Svilena.
Yeah.
From NitroPack. Please, Svilena. How does the revenue share program work?
So our revenue share program lets agencies earn a percentage of their clients' NitroPack purchases. And here's how it works. You get a percentage, let's say 10%, and you can use it in a few different ways. There's what we call the balanced approach, which means you can offer your clients a discount by sharing part of that 10%, and you keep the rest as revenue from each transaction. This is a great middle ground strategy. You can also give the full discount to your clients, and you can share the full 10% with them, giving them a bigger discount on NitroPack. This approach is perfect if you want to onboard clients more quickly. And if you're a little selfish and a little greedy and you want to maximize your revenue, you can keep the entire 10% for yourself, earning the full share from every client's NitroPack purchase. It's a straightforward way to boost your revenue.
Great, that's awesome. I hope that was useful there, Christine. I'm going to move on to the next question from Matey. I love that name, Matey. What kind of ongoing support do you offer for agencies that manage a bunch of client websites if they opt in for NitroPack?
So I'll take this one too. So we offer 24/7 technical support to ensure that our agency partners get help whenever they need it. This includes a dedicated support team via live chat for real-time assistance, along with a comprehensive agency book to guide you through setup, optimization, and troubleshooting.
Okay, awesome. I have one more here for Svilena. A nice presentation from Plamen. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. A quick suggestion or quick question. What are the pricing options for agencies using NitroPack across multiple client websites?
So we offer, first of all, thank you, Plamen. We do offer different custom pricing plans tailored specifically to our agency partners, and they come in with built-in discounts. So all we need from you as an agency partner is some basic info like how many websites you're optimizing, how much traffic they get, and what CDN storage you might need. And from there, we'll create a plan that fits your needs.
Okay, perfect. And I kind of lost my place here. Let's scroll back up. There it is. Last one for you, Svilena, or maybe there's more if we scroll down from Lausanne. How does NitroPack help us overcome common performance challenges unique to WordPress, like heavy plugin usage and complex site structures without sacrificing site functionality?
So we overcome common performance challenges by simplifying everything and offering everything you need for a fast website in one place. And this is an all-in-one solution that can replace all other multiple performance plugins. This means that you can avoid loading your client's WordPress sites with too many third-party tools. And in addition, we also handle everything from caching and image optimization to code and CDN integration. And we ensure that even complex sites run smoothly without sacrificing functionality.
Okay, I love that. And with this, I'm going to move on to you, Aurelio, for WP Umbrella. That's a question from Simon here. WP Umbrella is amazing, but when will automatic scheduled plugin updates be released? You're muted, Aurelio.
Sorry, I just said soon. We are now working on our new reporting feature where people, because now you can only send PDF to people, and we got many feature requests, but agencies that just wanted to send like a very small email about the ongoing operation on their website. So we are now working on our reporting feature. And the next one, when this is done, will be the possibility for you guys to schedule updates. So we have a non-estimate philosophy, but it should be somewhere at the end of Q4, beginning of Q1. You know, like it's very much in the pipe.
Okay, perfect. And next one, question for Aurelio. This is from Marire, I think. How well does WP Umbrella handle managing a large portfolio of WordPress sites, potentially in the hundreds?
Just like managing 10 or 200 or 500 websites is just the same. Everything is instant. We have like queue workers, so everything happens in the background, and everything is almost instant in the user experience.
Okay, awesome. And I'm sure you mentioned you have 30,000 already using the solution. So a few hundred is not going to break you.
No, we're going to be fine.
Okay, perfect. Let's keep going here. We have a question from Stuart. Are there any hosting providers WP Umbrella don't work with?
So far, and to the extent of my knowledge, we are compatible with everyone. I just have in mind like some restriction from Pressable because we allow people to, for instance, delete themes and plugins, and with Pressable, they have like very narrow restrictions, and we cannot do what they forbade us to do. But basically, we can work with anyone, and from time to time, you only need to whitelist like 2 or 3 IP addresses to make sure that we are good to go. Because when we do backups, for instance, a backup, even if it's incremental, it's a heavy process, and sometimes it can be blocked by hosting provider firewalls, which is why a tiny IP whitelisting always helps.
Okay, cool. And we have a question from Jim. Is testing every plugin update in a staging environment for every site realistic?
It depends of your, I guess. I mean, it depends of your processes, and it depends of how many staging you have. If your staging are connected to a WordPress management tool, it becomes super easy. Pardon, and of course, I mean, it might be pointless to test an update of Hello Dolly on staging, but you shouldn't have Hello Dolly on your website anyway. And when it comes to staging, try to prioritize what really matters. If you're updating, if you have a page builder, update your page builder on staging. If you have WooCommerce, update WooCommerce on staging. Everything that can impact the front end of your website should be, in my opinion, tested on staging.
But I think you'd agree that like a clone page or something like that, some of those admin related plugins, it's very unlikely that they're gonna break something substantial on the front end.
And even page builder, I mean, they are very rarely breaking the front end of the website.
And then we have a question from Beth, project management for profit. Do all three of you have an affiliate program? I'll start and say yes.
So do we.
And we do as well, but it's a private affiliate program, and we only let in the people that have good reason to recommend you. Contact me on LinkedIn, and we will figure out something.
Perfect. And we have Chad asking, what is the difference between these two products? So I don't really have context as to which part was that, but let's answer that as a whole, kind of about the three products and how they kind of fit together. Because I think there was, we have a clarification from Chad here, meaning how do they each fit into the tech stack, into the tech stack? Can I go? So the way that I see this is, first of all, once you have a website, you got to have it run fast so that it converts properly. NitroPack is all about speeding up the website on the front end. So it's not so much about the management and things like what WP Umbrella and Atarim help do, but it's more about just making sure that the website goes extremely fast. When it comes to WP Umbrella versus Atarim, I think that there's a very clear differentiation as to the technical aspect of maintaining websites, which is where WP Umbrella comes in with updates, with backups, with whether the website is up and down, and all of those different elements. While Atarim doesn't touch any of the technical aspect, it's all about communication and collaboration. Basically, you have the work that needs to be done and the service delivery to the client between Atarim and the WP Umbrella. That
couldn't add anything, but basically, if you connect the three plugins, you have like the whole spectrum that you need for your agency.
Yes, they all complement each other beautifully, and they're all about speed. I think that's the main connection between the three of us. We're all trying to systemize workflows and to make sure that the end user, whether it's the client or the client's users, have a nice, optimized, clean experience provided by the agency. We have. Let me go back up. Yeah. Okay, cool. From Mikhail, does NitroPack include a CDN?
Yes, we do. NitroPack comes in with a built CDN, and we use Cloudflare.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna stick around for a few more minutes. Everyone is invited to stick around. We're gonna take 5 more minutes to kind of go through the rest of the items here, and I see that we're doing this pretty fast, which is great. Quick question for Aurelio. Does pre-update screenshot check homepage only or multiple pages?
Homepage only at the moment. We will see the feature was released this morning. Yesterday evening, and maybe it will change in the future. But as far as today, we only check homepage.
Okay, awesome. This question was from Pressed Wood Design. The next one is from Mikhail. I've just added my site to NitroPack. Taking action, I love that. But can it be compatible with WP Rocket or Flying Press at the same time?
So essentially the answer is no, because all three plugins have overlapping functionalities, and you can only use one at a time. With WP Rocket and Flying Press, you don't have CDN, and we already touched on this. NitroPack does, and you need to sign up for additional services they offer. And NitroPack takes more of an all-in-one approach.
Do we need to have both? Do we need to have WP Rocket or others? Do you need a caching solution and NitroPack?
So caching is part of NitroPack, and I think that's always the foundation of any performance solution. But like I mentioned, what makes us different is that we like to offer everything you need for a fast website in one place. So that's caching, CDN, image optimization, fonts, everything.
So it's been a while since I've been doing a speed optimization myself, but I remember that back in the day, it used to take 4 to 6 different tools to get to a solid result and different plugins and such. So with that, just one, and that's it.
Just the one. Yeah.
Let's scroll down. Got a question from Jim. Is it getting harder to sell maintenance packages on WP when there are other platforms available to clients like Wix, Squarespace, and etc.? Yoeli, do you want to take this one?
With pleasure. I think it's a very good question. And overall, the question is, should you move from WordPress to a fully managed service like Wix, Squarespace, or whatever? Because in the end, the main difference is that in this kind of services, everything is managed. You don't have control over anything. The data, I mean, you are literally giving all your data to these kind of services, which also mean that you become prisoner. And in the end, I think it's not about staying with WordPress. It's about what's best for your clients.
Right.
And WordPress has some downside, and I think we all know them. But WordPress is the only workable solution nowadays, which is open source, which will give you the flexibility. And I think in the end, it's all about communication with clients, and you need to be very transparent, because your clients maybe will have seen this cool, fancy advertisement from Wix. Hey, but I want a Wix website. It's easier. It's not. It might be easier the first week, and then suddenly overnight, Wix increase the pricing, and then you're screwed. And so if you want to have more control, and if you want to control the destiny of your clients, I would still and always advocate for WordPress. And that's kind of my answer. I hope it was not like I didn't miss the point, but I think that was the real question, what was about.
And I would like to add this also, that you mentioned the monthly cost of using cloud-based solutions. Essentially, the cost that you pay for the solution itself on other places that are not WordPress, that is the maintenance fee. And so basically, if someone chooses Wix or anything like that, they would do the maintenance for at scale, I guess, for making sure that the software is updated and gets pushed with constant reducing downtime and all of those different elements. So I think that that's a great way to kind of frame this. I remember back in the agency, we had a bunch of folks that started with Shopify, scaled up using Shopify. The price went crazy as you scale up, and then we migrated them into WooCommerce, and we actually enjoyed maintaining those websites at the 3 to 4 figures on a monthly basis for them, and even that was half to a third of the cost that they were paying to some of those cloud-based solutions. So I see that as an opportunity rather than a risk.
Me too.
Let's see what else we have here. We have Stuart. Do clients need an account for Atarim? No. So again, we have the grammar test. Can grammar set up an account with anything? And the answer is probably not. And so all that we ask when a client comes in or actually there's two ways. One is you can provide the name and the email address when you invite the client. Therefore, they will need nothing. They will just click through and start collaborating straight away. They will get notified on all of the different changes, all different statuses and the new task comments and things like that. If you want to just drop in a link to someone like you would to a Google Doc or something like that, you have that ability, and we're going to ask them for, or the only mandatory thing is going to be the name. So we're going to ask, just type in Vito or Svilena, and that's all that they would need to start collaborating. On the side, we're going to encourage them to also put in the email address, but again, it's not bundled up. We're thinking about this from the perspective of the customer. They want to come in, or the client, they want to come in and leave comments and start collaborating as quickly and efficiently as possible with as little friction as possible. And then if they do want to get notified or about changes and things like that, they will have the ability to put in the email on the side there in a non-intrusive way. But again, I'm going back to the first point, is that if you want zero friction, just put in the name and the email and click the button on the invite, and they will not need to do anything. Just come in, leave comments on the page. The next question here is from George. We use Trello for project management. Would Atarim replace it, or does it integrate? So we're not trying to be Atlassian. I don't think that we can. I don't think that this is realistic for us to be like Trello or Asana or ClickUp. That's not our place. All these project management tools, they're great for everyone. So you have construction companies managing projects and accountants managing projects alongside web agencies. And so those tools are pretty broad to serve every type of customer. We don't. We focus on you all. And so the tools that you will find within Atarim are things that do not exist anywhere else when it comes to project management tools. We do have some basic project management tools built in that would be enough for an agency of up to 5 to 10 team members. Beyond that, you would want to have something a bit more in-depth than what Atarim provides from a project management perspective, in which case we integrate. So we see a very clear path of people as they grow with us, as they're freelancers or small agencies, they actually reduce the other tools that they need to use because everything would fit in within Atarim. But as they grow, they would want to integrate, and that's where our larger customers use our integrations and our automations. Some of them even build 1,200 websites per month, serve upwards of 15,000 support requests through our platform per month. And obviously at that level of scale, they have their own CRMs and their own things like that. And we do things like custom API integrations, there's webhooks, there's Zapier and everything else that you would expect. Let's see what else we have here. We got David giving you a feature suggestion for WP Umbrella would be the ability to create a clone of the website.
It's coming. It's coming.
That's great. We have David with another question. How does NitroPack comply with Cloudflare, the Europe DPMA?
Mm-hmm. So I'm not 100% sure on this one. It should be compatible according to the Cloudflare terms of service, but just to be sure, maybe the person who asked the question can open a support ticket and we'll check that for them and tell them for sure.
Okay. Is there a need to add my website to Cloudflare if using NitroPack? That's from Chad.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. So in terms of performance, no. And if you want increased security, you can use Cloudflare together with NitroPack because that is built into our service.
Okay, awesome. And we have Stuart. Does Atarim capture any technical information, or is it only able to get comments, feedback? So we're trying to think of. So let's think of what are the main questions that you ask your clients when they send you a message, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced before. Something like, "The button is broken. It's broken. It's broken." And then starts the back and forth of wait. Which button? There's 1,000 on this website. Can you please share the URL? Can you please share the screenshot? Well, are you on your phone? Are you on this? Are you on Internet Explorer from the 90s? What's going on? So all of that information that the client doesn't need to provide you is fully automated. The client can literally say, the button is broken, and you will have 100% clarity on how to tackle this request. I find it a bit hard to convince clients of the advantages of WordPress. Control is the main advantage you use to convince clients. Fair enough. That's from Jim. I think he's responding to your answer there, Aurelio, about the Wix versus others.
And I put something in the chat, Jim. I do think that is the main advantage of WordPress. And I think people often think that the grass is greener elsewhere, you know. And I'm very sure that other platforms, Wix, even Shopify, you know, all of them, they have their own issue. And you can tell your client, you know, this summer, Microsoft, the biggest IT company in the world, or maybe not the biggest, you know, but we all know Microsoft, and they have this massive flow, and not any flight could take off. And in the end, they all have issues. And the real beauty about WordPress is the size of the community, the size of resources, and the fact that it's one of the only open source system that is alive and that is being like improved and updated on almost a daily basis. So I mean, we all have this drama going on with WordPress. Is it going to die? Is it? And when you look at alternatives, there are not any. There is nothing as good as WordPress. Final stop. You know, or it for some use cases, of course. And in the end, always ask your clients what's the most important for him. You know, do we want to quickly bootstrap something and never care, and it doesn't care about how much money it's going to pay on scale? Then go for Shopify, or go for Wix, or go for. If you want to have control and also to have alternatives, you know, because maybe he will not like you, and it's much more easier to find a replacement when it comes to WordPress than when it comes to Shopify. And you really have to educate your clients about it, pros and cons of each platform, you know.
Okay, I agree with you 100% here, Aurelio. Next one is from Chad. Vito, can Atarim work with these other platforms that we're discussing? The answer is yes. We started as a WordPress plugin back in the day. There is still the WordPress plugin that you can find on the repo, but you don't have to use that. You can just drop in the URL to any page on the web, and it will work within a fraction of a second. If you want to even collaborate freely across the web, I would love to encourage everyone to go in and just search Atarim Chrome extension and install the free extension, and you can literally leave comments in the next couple of seconds on YouTube as you're watching this, and share this with other people. It will work on any website that is out there. Or let me correct that, it will work on 99.6% of websites that are out there. If you find the 0.4%, we're hunting for them, so please let us know on the support so we can optimize on these as well. George asking when it integrates. I guess it connects to. It continues on Atarim. When it integrates, does it pull through the screenshot and the exact information, or do I need to go back to Atarim to see the feedback? You don't need to. It will be in there. You're also going to have a button that is going to take you to the exact page on the exact website. Scroll down to the exact location of the page and pop that message open there if you have the Chrome extension or the WordPress plugin installed there. So you don't have to. You're going to find that when it comes to doing rapid corrections or rapid feedback, because your Atarim is going to be much more efficient than these other solutions. Let me explain that in a second. Basically, when you create tasks or the nature of website feedback is between 3 to 5 words. Make this bigger, make this smaller, make this blue, make this red. This doesn't work. This does work. This looks good. This looks bad. It's always 3 to 5 words. And every platform that is out there is designed for long form content because you need to go into the task, out of the task, into another task, out of the task. In Atarim, it's designed for this rapid feedback, so you can tackle dozens and hundreds of these requests in what would take you a lot longer in every other platform, because they're just not designed for this use case. So you can, but I'll encourage you to try use the internal tools within the inbox, within our Kanban boards that are already built into Atarim to do that. If you do want to integrate, you can also look into the automation tool that we have that you can map things out precisely. So, for example, for let's say that I put the WordPress plugin on NitroPack's website, I can connect that to a specific project that I have within ClickUp or within Trello, and I will feed in requests into the NitroPack project that I have in any of the other places through the automation tool, the workflow tool that we have released recently. And let me see, WP Umbrella, yes, that's your question, that's your answer there. I think that's it. There's still dozens of folks that are watching us, so I want to wrap this up by thanking you all for sticking around for 20 more minutes here to kind of hear the Q&A and get these answers, get these questions answered. I want to thank my co-hosts here, Aurelio and Svilena, for running this, setting up this webinar, and to all of our teams that have made that happen. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vito and Aurelio. It's been great.
Thank you, folks. And just because I'm a terrible person, I forgot we have created a promo code, and I think I don't know if you did that as well for Atarim or NitroPack, but it was on my slide, and I just skipped it. You can use the promo code webinar 2024 to get 1 month free of the WP Umbrella if you want to try it out. Sorry, I just forgot it. And feel free to add us on LinkedIn. I think Vito, Vilena, we are all super active, and it's a good way to keep in touch with all the cool stuff we are adding to our fantastic products.
I can't believe you almost forgot that one. But everyone is going to get the recording after this, and they're going to get the slides so they can check out the discount code again and request a demo and anything else they want to do.
Fantastic, Vilena. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.